Dambana ng katotohanan, sa ngalan ng katarungan, ihahayag.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Ako si Erin.
At ako si Louie, at kami ang makakasama nyo for today's celebration.
Today is a very special day. It is really unfortunate that we're still in the middle of pandemic, but today is worth celebrating.
Yes, that is true, Erin. Ngayong araw, we will celebrate the 31st anniversary of the Philippine Legislators Committee on Population and Development, an organization that is committed to empowering and building people's active participation in policy making.
Yes, 2020 has been a challenging year for all of us, and that goes for PLCPD too. But despite that, our efforts didn't stop. Instead, we worked on how we can sustain our work despite the challenges brought about by the pandemic through maximizing technology and use of online platforms.
And that is why the participation and support of our partners as we celebrate our 31st year in this service make it even more meaningful for us. Kaya naman today, to our viewers, we want you to sit back and relax as we once again introduce the foundations that shape our organization.
Not only that, Louie, brace yourself din dahil may importanteng announcement mamaya.
I am so excited. Tara, simulan na natin ang celebration.
Simulan na natin sa welcome remarks ng PLCPD Chairperson for the House of Representatives, Representative Malu Acosta Alba.
Sa mga kasama ko sa Kongreso, sa Senado, sa mga iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno, sa mga NGOs at civil society organizations, mga partners at kapwa advocates and stakeholders, at sa PLCPD Secretariat. Before I go on, I would just like to say that I am really happy and proud to be part of PLCPD. 31 years na ang PLCPD, and we congratulate PLCPD for 31 years of remarkable journey and growth. Growth in the quality and substance of our legislative agenda, effectiveness and credibility. When we celebrate anniversaries, we look back at our victories with warmth and fondness. And ordinarily, we also think about the challenges that could come our way in a more calm and collected manner. But we all know that we are living in difficult, uncertain times. Uncertainty is perhaps the word that most accurately describes the situation we live in. Though this is not the first time that humanity is facing a pandemic, this is unprecedented because of its evolution from a health crisis to a social and economic setback. A few months ago, UN said that this pandemic may reverse human development for the first time in 30 years. COVID-19 has magnified existing and offending inequalities, especially to those unable to cope with the social and economic fallout. Some might say that since this pandemic is transforming the world around us, we should also shift our priorities, reallocate our resources, and change strategies. But we have no option but to pursue the human development agenda. We accelerate our actions with greater grit, determination, and innovation. Our current agenda, children's rights, rural development and housing, public health, sexual and reproductive health and rights, come with one powerful message, and that is putting people at the center of development. And so alongside with the changes brought about by this pandemic, like Zoom meetings, Google Meets, work from home arrangements, and digitalization, comes the reinvention and reimagination of our advocacy work, reimagining our engagement strategy through digital or online advocacy. We will maximize the use of online platform for communicating with policymakers and implementors, expanding interface with communities and partner organizations, and fighting the spread of misinformation. This won't be easy. Cutting through the online noise and the multitude of webinars and online discussions, we have to create strong narratives and a higher level of creativity. Will this be enough for PLCPD, for all of us in the new normal? In considering what new normal should be, let us reflect on a powerful statement and touching challenge by Sonia Renee Taylor, and I quote, "We will not go back to normal. Normal never was. Our pre-corona existence was not normal, other than we normalized greed, inequity, exhaustion, depletion, extraction, disconnections, confusion, rage, hoarding, hate, and lack. We should not long to return, my friends. We are being given the opportunity to stitch a new garment, one that fits all of humanity and nature." Maraming salamat and happy 31st anniversary PLCPD. Mabuhay at padayon.
Maraming salamat, Representative Malu. Napaka-espesyal talaga ng araw na ito sa pag-celebrate natin ng ating anniversary. Isipin niyo yun, 31 years na tayong patuloy na nagsusulong ng iba't ibang batas.
Wow! 31 years na ang nakalipas at nandito pa rin tayo. We are still here continuing to advocate for the enactment of laws that will help uplift the quality of life of the Filipinos.
Kaya naman wag na natin itong patagalin pa. Let us watch how the Philippine Legislators Committee on Population and Development has developed and is reimagining advocacy work even in the new normal.
For 31 years, PLCPD has imagined and reimagined advocacy work to help improve the quality of life of Filipinos through meaningful engagement with policymakers and various stakeholders in pursuing human development and rights-based legislation. In 1989, a group of legislators imagined and dreamt of a responsive and people-centered legislation and policies on population and development. They called on members of Congress to join hands in this endeavor and formed a group, which was eventually called PLCPD. After a decade's worth of integrating population factors in national development policies, plans, and programs, PLCPD came to serve as a resource for policy advocacy, offering research and capacity building to put people at the heart of legislation, to expand choices and uplift lives. During the late 90s, PLCPD transitioned to become a comprehensive human development advocacy organization. Inspired by the International Conference on Population and Development and the global discussions on rights-based approach to development, PLCPD embraced population and human development as its framework. The main advocacy was for bills on population and development and RH, but other human development measures were also significantly supported. Imagining advocacy work further, PLCPD also engaged regional parliamentary groups. The Human Development Framework and legislation was sharpened through learning exchanges, and PLCPD spotlighted the Philippines in terms of enacting landmark human development legislation such as the Reproductive Health Law. PLCPD imagined that women's rights is equally highlighted in human development legislation. This imagination led to almost 2 decades of the RH advocacy campaign, which tested both the creativity and resolve of PLCPD in finding ways to fulfill the rights of women to reproductive and sexual health. The enactment of the RH law was PLCPD's flagship campaign for a long time. It was also a time of expansion and institutional development. PLCPD broadened its horizons while building its internal capacity.
My overwhelming congratulations to PLCPD for 31 eventful and successful years of advocating for women's reproductive and sexual rights, accessible and quality healthcare and education for all, social justice for the marginalized, and sustainable human development for all. In the course of a little over 3 decades, PLCPD has helped in the passage of laws that are protecting, promoting, and fulfilling the basic and inalienable human rights in Philippines, from the right of couples to responsibly plan their families and access family planning information and services, to the right of mothers to adequate maternity leave benefits, to the right of children to be protected in situations of armed conflict, and right of mothers and their children to nutritious food and proper health care. The laws that PLCPD helped pass are by far a few of the most outstanding, innovative, and groundbreaking statutes in the country. PLCPD has become a trailblazer among civil society groups because it has produced tangible results and has steadfast perseverance against all adversities. Moreover, by working in close and constant collaboration with legislators and other non-government and people's organizations, PLCPD understands that indeed an entire symphony cannot be played by a single person. It must be played in unison by a complete orchestra. This is what the passage of a piece of legislation entails, a team of individuals and organizations with a common vision, committed to a specific purpose, all working in tune with each other, so akin to the harmonious melodies of an orchestra. There is an African proverb which says that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go farther, go together. PLCPD has gone farther than many other similar organizations, lasted longer, and achieved a great deal more because it recognizes the importance of teamwork and fair play, even as it has long realized that so much can be accomplished if we do things together. Again, congratulations to the remarkable and dedicated women and men, past and present, of the Philippine Legislators Committee on Population and Development.
The partnerships we developed and sustained for 31 years led to policy gains for human development. Now that the pandemic posed challenges in our advocacy work, our efforts helped us reimagine ways to overcome the challenges. We may be physically distant, but our collective goal to help expand choices and improve lives through policies remain tightly knit.
After 31 years of committing to our mandate of protecting the most vulnerable in the Philippines, happy anniversary. Every year we strive for a society where every Filipino, every woman, man, and child is free and empowered to pursue opportunities that allow them a good life. Ang laki ng papel natin sa buhay ng mga Pilipino. Sana hindi tayo mapagod, sumikap para sa kinabukasan ng taong bayan. Mabuhay ang PLCPD!
As the CRN convener, PLCPD leads in the planning and execution of the network's legislative advocacy initiatives, as well as in monitoring the progress of target outcomes. Other PLCPD agenda on children are the following: increasing the age to determine statutory rape and sexual consent, ending of online and offline sexual exploitation and abuse of children, and strengthening of a comprehensive civil registration and vital statistics for further protection of children. We continue to call on Congress to look at the overall well-being of children and to prioritize the passage of legislation that will address their needs. PLCPD recognizes that the rights of children are inalienable and inalienable, and we are committed to making sure that the best interests of children are at the heart of every law.
We need to advocate for urgent action to protect children's rights to survival, development, protection, and participation in all levels of legislation.
As girl defenders, we sustained our advocacy to ensure that all women and girls are equally protected by the law from any form of violence, such as child marriage. With the collective effort of girl defenders, bills prohibiting child marriage were filed for the first time in the history of Congress. As girl defenders, we are working hard in all fronts to rally support for the enactment of bills that will end child marriage. Together, we will not stop until all women and girls live free from violence.
We need to advocate for urgent legislative action to create spaces to take action on violence against women and girls, such as child early forced marriage.
The prevalence of adolescent pregnancy in the Philippines is one of the highest in the region, with more and more girls as young as 10 to 14 years old getting pregnant. This puts the health, safety, and future of our young women and girls on the line. Together with partners, we have been pushing for the full and meaningful implementation of the reproductive health law, the exercise of congressional oversight on its implementation, and the enactment of the Prevention of Adolescent Pregnancy Act. We will sustain this advocacy until we see no more children having children.
We need to advocate for urgent legislative action to close the gaps in sexual and reproductive health and rights, especially those that keep our children and youth from reaching their full potential, and to enable our country to harness the demographic dividend.
More than 110,000 Filipinos die annually from tobacco-related diseases. We need to strengthen the Tobacco Regulation Act to make it truly health-oriented and compliant with the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. In addition, we are now seeing a new epidemic targeting children and youth. 1 in 5 vapers in the country are adolescents. We call for the protection of the health of Filipinos above all, and first and foremost, the protection of children and youth from the ills of tobacco. We will sustain our advocacy for a tobacco-free generation.
We need to advocate for urgent legislative action to stop the tobacco industry from targeting our children and the youth.
Our agenda on rural development and adequate housing will continue to be pursued for the passage of bills prioritized for long-term food security and sovereignty, sustainable rural development, adequate housing, and policy measures on gender equality and women empowerment. We will sustain our advocacy for equality first, working towards gender equality, transformative housing, and empowerment of the rural folk.
We need to advocate for urgent legislative action to achieve genuine rural development and provide adequate and resilient housing.
For 31 years, PLCPD has pursued human development and rights-based legislation, bridging various perspectives and actions in the development of public policies. PLCPD's expanding partnerships and increasing capabilities have resulted in the broadening of its legislative agenda on public health, gender equality, and other social issues. In the midst of COVID-19 pandemic, PLCPD successfully shifted its work and maximized the internet and social media to underpin its advocacies. We will continue to imagine and reimagine a world where the rights of every Filipino are at the center of legislation, and we will not cease our pursuit of human development for all.
Wow! Damang-dama ko as a member of the PLCPD Secretariat kung paanong patuloy nating pinaghuhusayan para makamit ang mga pangarap ng organisasyon from 1989 pala up until now.
Oo, at alam nating lahat na ito'y tutungo sa pagtataguyod ng karapatan ng bawat Pilipino, lalong-lalo na ang proteksyon ng mga bata, pagsusulong ng sexual and reproductive health and rights ng bawat isa, lalo na ng kababaihan at kabataan.
Safe spaces for women and girls, pati na rin ang pagbibigay halaga sa rural development. Ang pangangalaga sa kalusugan lalo na ng mga kabataan laban sa masamang epekto ng paninigarilyo at e-cigarettes. Ang lahat ng ating pagsisikap ay nakatuon sa paniniwalang ang mga batas na ito ay tunay na maglilingkod sa interes ng mas nakakaraming Pilipino.
Totoo yan. Mahaba na ang ating kasaysayan bilang isang organisasyon. Maraming aral, mayamang karanasan, may mga frustrations along the way, pero sa kabuuan ay isang mabungang paglalayag at pagsusulong ng mga batas tungo sa mas maunlad at mapagkalingang lipunan.
At sa paglalayag na ito ay marami tayong nakasama. At ngayon, pakinggan natin sila, ang mga mensahe ng ating mga miyembro sa Kongreso, pati na ng ating mga partners.
Comprehensive sexuality education plays an important role to provide sufficient knowledge and protection for the Filipino young women to keep them from early pregnancy and various forms of abuse and violence it is associated with. With the hurdles brought by the COVID-19 pandemic, we take on the challenge and obligation to work harder to contribute to the uplifting of lives of our fellow Filipinos through meaningful legislation. Happy 31st anniversary, PLCPD. Mabuhay po.
On population and development, with the entire population community, celebrates the 31st anniversary of our valued partner, the Philippine Legislators Committee on Population and Development, PLCPD. Naway ipagpatuloy ninyo ang advokasya para sa ating mga kapwa Pilipino. Kasama ninyo kami sa inyong adhikain para sa matatag, maginhawa at planadong pamilyang Pilipino.
Sa PLCPD, naway at tumagal pa ang taon ng ating kolaborasyon, partnership para sa mga makabuluhang batas para sa bata, kababaihan at marginalized sector. Mabuhay ang PLCPD.
Occasion of the 31st anniversary of PLCPD, I would like to extend my appreciation to the work of your organization in pursuing human development and rights-based legislation. I look forward to more years of partnership with you as we address the pressing needs of the people in the new normal. With the hurdles brought about by COVID-19 pandemic, we take on the challenge and obligation to work harder to contribute to uplifting the lives of our fellow Filipinos through meaningful legislation. Happy 31st anniversary, PLCPD.
Happy anniversary, PLCPD.
With the hurdles brought on by COVID-19 pandemic, we take on the challenge and obligation to work harder, to contribute to uplifting the lives of our fellow Filipinos through meaningful legislation. Happy 31st anniversary, PLCPD.
Happy 31st anniversary to PLCPD. Ipagpatuloy niyo ang pagiging kampyon ng karapatang pambata sa Kamara. Mabuhay!
It is my great pleasure to congratulate PLCPD on your 31st anniversary. PLCPD has become an institution in championing legislation that further human development and public participation in policymaking. We reaffirm our commitment in being partners in pursuing policies that put the welfare of Filipinos at the forefront. With the hurdles brought by COVID-19, we take on the challenge to work harder to contribute to uplifting the lives of our fellow Filipinos through meaningful legislation. Happy 31st anniversary, PLCPD.
Mabuhay PLCPD on the occasion of your 31st anniversary. It is a great honor and privilege for Oxfam Pilipinas to be among your partners, especially in the struggle for gender equality and justice. We look forward to many more years of collaboration with you, and thank you for the opportunity.
I would want to congratulate the PLCPD on its 31st anniversary, and we look forward to more meaningful cooperation with you.
Papasalamat po ako sa PLCPD sa patuloy niyo pong pagsuporta sa aming mga panukalang batas at sa inyong advokasya. Dahil dyan, hayaan niyo pong batiin ko kayo ng Happy 31st Anniversary. Mabuhay po kayo at maraming salamat.
Ako po si Barangay Captain Jeep Bernardo ng Barangay Colyac ay gustong bumabati ng Happy 31st Anniversary ng PLCPD. Ako po at ang Barangay Council at ang mamamayan ng aming barangay ay bumabati sa inyo. Maraming pong salamat sa lahat ng tulong at suporta na pinagkaloob ninyo sa barangay upang mapangalagaan ang ating mga kabataan, lalo na po ang mga kabataan ng aming barangay. Umasa po kayo, PLCPD, sa lahat ng inyong layunin ay kasama po ninyo ang buong mamamayan ng aming barangay.
Makulay ang buhay! Makulay ang buhay! Makulay ang buhay! Makulay ang buhay sa pinigayong araw! Happy 31st Anniversary, PLCPD! Mula kay Captain Bernardo at sa mga agawad ng Barangay Colyac!
Hi, this is Representative Arlene Rosas of Gabriela Women's Party. Happy 31st Anniversary, PLCPD. As we face the intensifying COVID-19 crisis, we need to push for a genuine health response to prevent a breakdown of our healthcare system, save lives, and protect the most vulnerable sectors of our society, including women and children. All human rights must be kept at the heart as they can help us in overcoming this public health challenge while protecting our dignity and democratic freedoms. With the hurdles brought by the COVID-19 pandemic, we take on the challenge and obligation to work harder to contribute to uplifting the lives of our fellow Filipinos through meaningful legislation. Happy 31st anniversary to us, PLCP.
At ngayong Setyembre 2020, binabati namin ang PLCPD. Mabuhay! Happy 31st Anniversary, PLCPD!
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Xavier Peredo ng UNSDSN Youth. I would like to say congratulations to the whole PLCPD for your 31st anniversary. We have been strong partners when it comes to the reproductive health, especially for girls, for fighting for it, for fighting for them. So thank you very much. Congratulations on your 31st anniversary. Maraming salamat po.
Congratulatory message for PLCPD achievement. APD and PLCPD
are both Secretariat of Parliamentarians who advocate for population sustainable development issues. Parliamentarians are the representative of people, and we are strong advocates for democracy. Together, we are contributing to create a bright future for all. Like APDA, we recognize that PLCPD plays a crucial role as a defender of rights of girl children. We are both dedicated to prevent child, early and forced marriage, issue of violence against children spanning across the globe. Amazingly, PLCPD's advocacy efforts are reflected in so many legislation in the Philippines, and then contribute to the uplifting of the society as a whole. Thank you very much.
Realizing this much connection that we have established through the years, through our shared vision and hard work, it really inspires us to do more and go beyond what is required of us in this new context.
Tama yan, Louie. Dahil dyan, let's have a glimpse of how we envision the future of policy advocacy in its many forms para sa new normal and beyond.
Ayan, ito na ba ang grand reveal na pinakihintay natin?
Yes, ito na nga. PLCPD recognizes the growing needs as well as the gaps that are present and further exacerbated during the pandemic. Gusto ng PLCPD na patuloy na maging epektibo at mabigyan ng bagong avenue ang ating mga activities that specifically aim to help both lawmakers and the public understand the policy issues that need to be part of a national conversation.
Kaya naman wag na nating patagalin pa. We present you
the Human Development Linking and Learning Hub.
For 30 years, PLCPD served as a conduit between stakeholders and legislators in the advocacy for human development legislation. We continued to provide linking and learning platforms for our multi-stakeholders. These platforms include learning sessions, policy fora and conferences, roundtable discussions and dialogues, advocacy trainings, and specialized skills trainings. PLCPD believes that an effective learning process is one that links theory with practice.
With the onset of COVID-19 as a global pandemic, PLCPD quickly adapted to ensure that it would still be able to provide linking and learning platforms for multiple stakeholders. With its mandate to advocate for human development legislation and to expand choices and uplift lives, PLCPD has adapted its platforms to cater to the changing needs of the new normal, in pursuit of crucial human development policy issues and sustaining partnerships.
An important factor in making the extensive and comprehensive advocacy work of PLCPD for 31 years is its institutional commitment to sharpen and hone its advocacy products and services.
Through the years, PLCPD's products and services were honed through the Center for Information, Communications, and Capacity Building, which evolved to the Capacity Building Unit and the Communications and Research Unit. These centers are now subsumed under the Center for Advocacy and Partnerships to streamline advocacy campaigns. The pandemic provided a unique opportunity to reinvent the wheel. COVID-19 did not stop PLCPD from reimagining other platforms to still be able to share our craft and services in policy advocacy. Rapid developments in information and communications technology, coupled with PLCPD's experience in digital and social media campaigns, led us to diversify our approaches in policy advocacy. The Human Development Online Linking and Learning Hub, or HumDev Hub, is PLCPD's revolutionary approach to continuing its work to serve as a conduit for change through advocacy and legislative reforms.
The HumDev Hub takes on different modalities to address the specific needs of stakeholders vis-a-vis their current capacities. Through the Human Development Hub, building skills for advocacy work can be sustained despite and especially during the pandemic, where political actors, both policymakers and key stakeholders, need all the support that they can get to uphold rights-based legislation. These are the modalities of the HumDev Hub. Usapang Human Development or UHD online series. The UHD series is the HumDev Hub's fast-paced installment featuring public-facing formats. This free and public series is streamed and uploaded across PLCPD's website and social media platforms. The UHD online discussion series is a 2-hour talk show launched in April 2020 that aims to provide a platform to raise awareness and bridge meaningful human development concerns that arise and affect the rights and well-being of Filipinos during the enhanced community quarantine due to the pandemic, and to highlight necessary policy recommendations and legislative action. PLCPD puts together representatives from Congress, executive branches, and civil society organizations for a multi-perspective exchange and invites comments and questions from the public through FB and YouTube, where it is streamed live. UHD Spotlight Series. The Spotlight Series is an online one-on-one interview which will feature one special guest per episode with the aim of zooming in on specific issues and outlining the perspectives of the special guest. The interview will not be more than 20 minutes, recorded and uploaded on Facebook and YouTube. The UHD SKL Podcast. The podcast series feature a variety of formats to tackle and present advocacy issues. Such formats will include interviews, monologues, scripted multi-genre programs, and musical. Each episode will run for 20 minutes and uploaded in PLCPD's podcast and also stored in flash drives for distribution in areas with limited internet connection. The webinar series aims to deep dive into policy issues and engage a specific or target audience to streamline policy recommendations. PLCPD will put together representatives from Congress, executive offices, civil society organizations, and issue experts to achieve this objective. It is a 3-hour thematic policy discussion that is free, but by invitation only. HumDev Hub Multimedia and Creative Campaigns. PLCPD's extensive experience and expertise in multimedia productions and mounting creative campaigns such as concerts and other high-impact events have been proven effective in moving advocacies. This service will be offered for a fee to prospective stakeholders. And finally, the HumDev Hub Training Program. The training program is an online platform to avail the following: Basic course on policy advocacy, Advanced course on policy advocacy and communications, Policy development and analysis, and Policy development write-shop. These courses will require fees and are exclusive for requesting parties.
PLCPD remains committed to building bridges between stakeholders and legislators.
Through the HumDev Hub, we wish to impart our advocacy experiences with our partners.
Because we want to contribute to develop more human development advocates and champions.
Join us! Be with us here at the HumDev Hub.
Grabe! Totoo at nakaka-excite naman itong Human Development Linking and Learning Hub. All you have to know from our podcast to usapang human development o episodes, mas madali mo nang mapupuntahan. All the information and updates we need regarding the advocacy campaigns of PLCPD are now at our fingertips.
Ang ganda! Wow! Siyempre, maraming salamat kay Representative Malu Acosta Alba at kay Sir Rom Dongueto, PLCPD Executive Director, para sa napakagandang message na binigay nila sa atin for introducing the Human Development Online Linking and Learning Hub. At ngayon pakinggan naman natin ang mga mensahe ng pagmamahal at suporta sa araw na ito mula sa ating legislators and partners.
Isang makabayan na pagbati mula sa kabataan. Happy 31st anniversary to our PLCPD family. Pagpupugay sa PLCPD sa 31 taon, pagsusulong ng makabuluhan na reforma na tumutugon sa mga issue, pangkalusugan, kaunlaran at karapatan ng mga bata at kababaihan. Ang inyong mga tagumpay ay inspirasyon sa mga kabataang Pilipino upang tuloy-tuloy na magkaisa para sa mas magandang bukas. Sa ating pagtutulungan sa pagharap sa mga hamon, lalo na ngayon sa gitna ng pandemya, tiyak na aani pa tayo ng mas maraming aral at tagumpay para sa ating sama-samang pagbangon at para sa susunod pang henerasyon. Muli, pagbati sa anibersaryo ng PLC.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. As we celebrate the founding anniversary of the Philippine Legislators Committee on Population and Development Foundation Incorporated or PLCPD, allow me to thank the men and women behind the foundation for their commendable performance during the past 31 years. I am very proud of the way PLCPD has evolved, particularly during this very trying time where everything is unprecedented, unexpected, and uncertain. The year 2020 has been a very challenging year, not only for our country but the entire world. On behalf of Anak Mindanao, I join each and every one of you as proud members of this prestigious organization to give your best in every way we can. Once again, congratulations and happy anniversary, PLCPD!
A pleasant and blessed day to all. I remember being the Benjamin of the House with Sibak Party List back in the 12th Congress of the House of Representatives when I first became a member of the Philippine Legislators Committee on Population and Development. After almost 2 decades, the advocacy of PLCPD, which is focused on people and their opportunities and choices, continues to influence our personal aspirations and legislative agenda. With the hurdles brought by the COVID-19 pandemic, we take on the challenge and obligation to work harder to contribute to uplifting the lives of our fellow Filipinos through meaningful legislation. So to all of you, happy victorious 31st anniversary PLCPD and God bless us all.
Congratulations, PLCPD, for marking another milestone in your pursuit of human development and rights-based policy making. I am truly privileged to have partnered with you in the arduous but fulfilling journey to improve the quality of life of our people. With the hurdles faced, brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, we take on the challenge and the obligation to work harder to contribute to improving the lives of fellow Filipinas. Happy anniversary! Happy 31st anniversary, PLCPD!
Happy 31st anniversary to PLCPD. I've been with the PLCPD since my first year in 2010 in Congress, and I have been working with the PLCPD until now that I am in the DOJ. And I really congratulate you for all the efforts that you have been putting in towards achieving and pursuing human development and rights-based legislation and policies, especially now that it's much harder during the pandemic. I'm with you always and support you 100%. Congratulations!
I am honored to be part of the PLCPD, an organization with an established track record in social legislation. They have taken up the causes of women, children, and the poor. These are the same marginalized groups that Kalinga Party List aims to help. As a Kalinga representative, I am thankful for the PLCPD's legislative support, especially in our common advocacies, cause which I will continue fighting for. With the hurdles brought by COVID-19 pandemic, we take on the challenge and obligation to work harder to contribute to uplifting the lives of our fellow Filipinos through meaningful legislation. Happy 31st anniversary, PLCPD, and more power.
Happy 31st anniversary, PLCPD. First of all, allow me to thank you for always being there, guiding me in our shared advocacies. At ito na naman, meron na naman tayong pinagsasamahang isang advokasya, at ito yung End Child Marriage in the Philippines.
As we celebrate PLCPD's 31st anniversary, may we all be inspired to work harder while we try to adjust to the new normal. I thank the PLCPD for their dedication and hard work, especially your chair, Congresswoman Balu Acosta Alba, for shepherding us in continuing to improve the lives of Filipinos in this extraordinary time. With the hurdles brought by COVID-19 pandemic, we take on the challenge and obligation in order to contribute to uplifting the lives of our fellow Filipinos through meaningful legislation. Happy 31st anniversary, PLCPD.
Happy 31st anniversary, PLCPD. Through the years, UNFPA and PLCPD have been working together in advocating national and local policies that provide access to quality sexual and reproductive health services to women and girls. Through this partnership, we have been able to raise consciousness about the importance of putting reproductive health as a centerpiece legislation, and we have seen the collaboration bearing fruits. The RPRH law is one such fine example. Much has been done and achieved, but so much needs to be done to really sustain the momentum that has been made. In this light, we stand by the PLCPD in its work towards policy advocacy for the betterment of women and girls in the country. Padayon, PLCPD.
Congratulations, PLCPD, for your 31 years of sustained and coherent policy advocacy work that matters to the ordinary people. Whether it is about child rights, reproductive rights, land or housing rights, banning smoking for greater health reasons, gender and women's equal rights, among many other issues and concerns, you and your allies were there in the front line for policy reform. Because you believe that the foundation of a democratic governance and inclusive economy is to institutionalize basic human rights and welfare of the Filipinos. Cheers to 31 more years and mabuhay kayo.
It is my honor and pleasure to warmly greet the PLCPD on its 31st anniversary. Before I proceed further, let us remember the founding fathers of PLCPD, so to speak, namely Honorable Congresswoman Teresa Aquino Oreta, first chair, House of Representatives. Among other members, Representatives Rodolfo Albano and Sunny Escudero. In the Senate, Senator Leticia Ramos Liane, original chair, Senate President Jovito Salonga, and Senator Ernesto Herrera. They have all passed away, and may their souls rest in peace. The founding members pioneered in the promotion of family planning in their own right. I am a witness to the transformation of PLCPD into a dynamic organization that vigorously promoted population and sustainable development in its broadest dimensions. Hence, legislations were crafted in this manner. The enactment of the RPRS law was in 2012. It was a major achievement in our advocacy and provides the basis for its full implementation by the relevant government agencies and members of the civil society sector. Thanks to the brave and courageous stand led by Representative Edsel Lagman, principal author, in spite of the fierce opposition of the Catholic hierarchy. I salute my distinguished successors who serve as executive directors and presently headed by Mr. Romeo Donguito for steering the PLCPD of what it is today. An icon in population and sustainable development. Once again, congratulations.
Mula po sa ugat ng kalusugan,
Happy anniversary!
PLCPD! Yay! Mula sa ugat ng kalusugan, Happy anniversary, PLCPD!
Happy anniversary, PLCPD! From ugat ng kalusugan! Nasa Palawan, kami po ay bumabati ng maligayang anibersaryo, PLCPD!
Happy 31st anniversary, PLCPD!
Maraming salamat sa masayang samahan sa pagtulak ng RH Bill.
Maraming salamat sa patuloy na partnership sa SRHR.
We wish you more power and resources to undertake your projects.
We wish you success in all your future endeavors. Happy 31st anniversary, PLCPD!
Padayon!
Binabati ng bayan muna ang lahat na officers, members, and staff, supporters, and friends of PLCPD sa selebrasyon ng kanyang ika-31 anniversary. In the midst of the severe crisis aggravated by the COVID-19 pandemic that our country is facing now, we salute PLCPD for its unwavering stand of safeguarding and advancing the cause of human rights of our people. Thus, the call pursuing human development and rights-based legislation, reimagining advocacy work in the new normal, becomes even more imperative, especially in these trying times of our country. With the hurdles brought by the COVID-19 pandemic, we take on the challenge and obligation to work harder to contribute in uplifting the lives of our fellow Filipinos through meaningful legislation. Again, happy 31st anniversary to us, PLCPD. Mabuhay ang PLCPD.
Hi, I'm Neil Datta. I'm the Secretary of the European Parliamentary Forum for Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights.
It's an honor to greet the PLCPD on this 31st anniversary. It's been a real pleasure to partner with PLCPD on a range of joint activities for 10 years now. Partnering with PLCPD, for example, in the many study tours we've jointly organized, has had a profound impact on many European parliamentarians and brought the reality of the Philippines, both the challenges, but more importantly the successes, to the attention of decision makers around the world. The current circumstances don't allow us to be there with you in person in Manila. Hopefully, when we get back to some sense of normality, we will be seeing each other in person, once more discussing, strategizing and planning together how we can advance human rights. Until that time comes, please accept the best wishes of EPF, and again, happy birthday on your 31st anniversary.
It is truly an honor to be working in the halls of Congress with our legislators and our different partners.
Not only that, knowing that we will be able to help in developing, linking, and continue learning with our future advocates is truly exciting. The work of PLCPD continues, and we thank you for celebrating our anniversary and our future endeavor with us.
Pero Erin, walang celebration kung walang tugtugan at jamming, di ba? Kaya pakinggan naman natin ang isa sa mga paborito nating artist advocates, ang For the Love.
Maraming salamat po sa PLCPD sa pag-imbita sa amin at sa pagkakataong makapagtanghal. Nais po naming ialay ang susunod na awitin sa inyong mga development workers na walang sawang nag-aalay ng inyong buhay, ng inyong panahon para patuloy na umunlad ang mga komunidad. Ito po ang mag-alay sa bayan. At marami ang nagugutom. Hindi ka ba napapahala? Nasaan ang pag-unlad? Kung meron man sinong pinalad, ikaw ba'y naghanap ng lunas? Magsama tayo upang lumakas. At ito ang panahon, mag-alay sa bayan, kumilos ngayon, baguhin ang mundo.
napapadya at marami ang nagugutom. Kami ay nababahala at nasaan ang pag-unlad kung meron man sinong pinalad. Ikaw ba'y naghahanap ng lunas? Magsama tayo upang lumakas. At itong panahon, mag-alay sa bayan, kumilos ngayon. Baguhin ang mundo, ating yanigin, lalaya tayo. Baklasin ang mga harang sa ating paggusto. Puso ay alay sa bayan, tayo ay babangon. Baklasin ang mga harang sa ating paggusto. Puso ay alay sa bayan, tayo ay babangon. Damhin ng panahon, dalubyo ay nagpapadya at marami ang nagugutom. Meron tayong magagawa.
Maraming salamat for the love. Sabi nga nila, mas masaya mag-advocate kung may tugtugan at nagkakaisa sa adhikain. At talaga namang naniniwala ang PLCPD na mahalaga ang papel ng sining at musika sa advokasya.
Tama yan. That is why we will continue moving, advocating, and building partnerships.
Kaya naman, maraming salamat sa aming mga member legislators, sa PLCPD Secretariat, to our partners and all advocates for being here with us in celebration of this event. We hope to see you in our future activities.
Again, I am Dewey.
And I am Erin. Maraming salamat sa pagdalo.
At let's wish PLCPD all the best in its 32nd year and beyond.
Sa puso at